I am Don Hamilton, and it is my privilege to welcome you to the ministry of Still. Still represents speaking truth in love, and the ministry was born within the context of the global reality that we are all facing, a shift in ideology, a shift in thinking, a shift that demands a response. Persons are confused with their gender identity, and there are those who are imposing their gender ideology, and there is need to speak the truth to power and truth to this ideology. In that context, then, in 2022, we hosted a 2 to 3 hour workshop online entitled Speaking the Truth in Love. We are committed to continue the process of educating, empowering, and equipping people for this long-term haul and this long-term battle. With that in mind, we are welcoming you to this 6-part series, speaking to these issues. In part 1, we cover a case of distraction from the real issues. Part 2, a case of absolute allegiance and worship of God. Part 3, a case of gender identity crisis. Part 4, a case of shift in pathology. Part 5, a case of dictatorial tyranny and control. And Part 6, a case of copyright infringement. We want to invite you to sit back, enjoy, engage this series. Feel free to contact us for any question or comment. God richly bless you as we begin this journey together. Part 5, a case of dictatorial tyranny and control. Haven't you noticed the shift in the West, where legislations and politicians are crafting concept words and ideology, and as it were, imposing it on the masses, saying you must and you have to go in this direction? Persons are constructing their own gender pronouns. Professors and lecturers are now being censored if they choose not to address persons by their invented pronouns. A case of tyranny and control. Noel Webster expressed some significant concerns when he actually crafted his dictionary. The purpose of the dictionary, when you study the history of the Webster's dictionary, it was really designed to protect the masses from the government taking words and changing and transforming them to control the people. Because it is felt, he who controls the definition of words controls the masses. So what we have observed, there is in fact a strategic and concerted effort to introduce new words and concepts in the lingo, legitimize them through the law, and then impose them in a tyrannical way on the masses. And if you do not comply, then of course you'll be censored, you'll be jailed, and certain punitive actions can be taken against you. They have redefined minority. As Kinlot pointed out, minority, any group that is defined by a power elite as different and or inferior on the basis of certain perceived characteristics. That was not the original understanding of minority. The term has been generalized to any group now or who are perceived oppressed by those in power. So the concept of minority being groups that are singled out for differential and unequal treatment allows us to expand, they say, the list of minorities beyond ethnic groups who are numerically minority in society, says Atkinson and Hackett. So then, with that redefinition, you can then say minority groups are those who are oppressed by the majority. Who are these minority groups now? Under the reframing, the disabled, older people, women, and persons of the LGBT community, all coming now under the banner of multiculturalism. Indeed, the word multiculturalism itself have gone through some redefinition. The term multiculturalism must include a broad range now of significant difference of race, gender, sexual orientation, ability, disability, religion, and class. And therefore, you have to understand when governments use this term multicultural, it is not just simply speaking now of ethnicity. It covers a wide range because of the redefinition of terms. It is legalized and then imposed on the masses. Sex and sexuality have also been redefined. Your sex is considered to be how you physiologically appears. But your gender is what is socially constructed. So I could have in my body a sex of what might be deemed male, but in my mind, my gender is female or many other genders. So sexuality and gender have been redefined. In fact, Weeks declared that sexuality is really a social and historical force, a fictional unity. Sexuality is an invention of the mind, a historical constructs would bring together biology, mental possibilities, etc., etc. So sexuality and gender have been defined. So Planned Parenthood says gender refers to the deepest feelings about gender identity, which according to them could be male, female, or neither. So we must appreciate then that once the terms are redefined and legalized, it can now be used in a very powerful political and legislative way to impose on the masses whether they agree or not in the modern style of tyranny. The implication for us is very clear. So I say to you, we must of necessity press for the definition of terms and see if we are on the same page with those who are using all kinds of means to slip under the door, to slip into our curriculum definitions of terms where we think we are on the same page. Be informed, my friend.